Hi there, my name is Cynthia Wakio, and today we're looking at the issue of salary. When we think about salary, especially in interviews, it can be an emotive issue. So today we're going to look at how you can answer what are your salary expectations question. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Cynthia.
You have been a recruiter for a long time.
Yes.
So in your experience, why do employers ask for salary expectations from a candidate when they know they have a budget for the role?
So that's a very good question, Cynthia. And there are two reasons why an employer would take that route. And the first one is, especially when they've not disclosed the salary, so they want to know, are you within their budget? So for example, if I'm hiring for a position for 50,000 and your expectation is 80 to 100,000, then no matter how qualified you are, then would say you are really not a good fit. And I would say salary is a big determinant when it comes to interviews, because at the end of the day, you're offering your skills there's an expectation why you're offering your skills, and that expectation is in terms of salary. So if I feel you are either too high, there's a high chance we may not get to the next stage, which is me giving you an offer. The other reason, and this is where candidates needs to be very careful about, is because what you ask speaks of your worth. I'll repeat that. Speaks of your worth. Why? Let's say this job pays 200,000, and yet you come, you say you have the skills, you have the experience, and you want to be paid 50,000. People will start doubting your competence, Cynthia. They'll see there's something amiss. So also, the way you negotiate, the way you go asking about the salary, you are sending a message. And employers are very alert to the message that you are sending. So are you a good fit, number one? And number two, how much do you think you're worth? What is your confidence? And I've seen instances where candidates are qualified, some of them even overqualified, but because of the amounts they've asked, it sends doubts. Yeah, and I know it's not fair. Someone might argue, Paminas, but why don't you just tell me how much you're paying? But unfortunately, that's the way the world works. Yeah.
And when you base it on the salary you're currently receiving to now ask for your salary?
Yes, what I normally tell candidates is you've got to do research, because what you're earning has nothing to do with what you'll earn tomorrow. You could be overpaid where you are currently, or you could be highly underpaid. Those are factors. So at the end of the day, it's all about salary negotiation. It's negotiation at the end of the day. Yeah. It's not so much about your worth. It's about, are you able to put your best foot forward? Are you able to negotiate for the best deal? Yeah. And that will come from you first being able to sell the value, and then having the confidence to ask the much you think you are worth. But obviously having done also research. For example, if you go to an SME, they're not going to pay you the same way as, let's say, a multinational. It's given. The multinationals will have a bigger budget. They have more financial muscle. Yeah. So there are factors that you should consider.
Yeah. And besides that mistake that candidates make, what other mistakes do you see them doing when it comes to salary negotiation?
There are only two of them major ones. So the first one is obviously not doing the research. Because a lot of the questions that I get asked is, how do you bring out the issue of salary? What do I say when I'm asked? But they forget that there's what you need to have done, the research you need to have done. For example, Cynthia, if you're to go to Mombasa, if you are planning to go to Mombasa next week, it's not just a matter of waking up and going there. You look at the mode of transport, you look at the convenience, you look at the time aspect. So all those you determine what you'll use. So it's the same case if you're going for an interview. Get to know who is this employer, which is the industry, what is the sector, what's the size of the company. And from there, you'll have a rough idea. Then ask around, ask people. And I can tell you, you'll be almost 90% there in terms of knowing how much salary to ask. Yeah. So do the research. That's one mistake I see professionals making. The other mistake is bringing the issue of the salary way too early. It's not any different from dating. If you go with someone out for a date and they want to marry you, Cynthia, the following day, the second date, what would you think about them?
Russian.
Yeah, you'd have question marks, isn't it? So go with the pace. In fact, I tell professionals, you should never be the one to bring the issue of salary. If the employer doesn't bring the issue of salary, just know then most likely you're not the ideal candidate. Yeah, so don't be in a rush. It can even take 10 interviews, 20 interviews. So just hold on. And even when they bring the issue of salary, don't be very quick to come out with numbers and say, oh, I want to earn this much. No, ask them, are there benefits? Is there any other thing that comes with this job? Are there commissions? Are there bonuses? Do I have my medical cover? Do I have a pension? Because also I've seen instances where someone quotes a figure which is even higher than they were earning, but then the new job doesn't have benefits, and yet the benefits were way higher where they are coming from. Yeah, so I also think that's also something that professionals need to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how exactly do you answer what are your salary expectations?
So let's assume you've done the research, you're pretty comfortable, you know about the organization, and then you've waited all the end, so you've been able to sell value to the employer. Then the best way to approach this is give them a salary range, with the lowest being your ideal. So let's say you're looking for a salary of 100,000. So if I were in your shoes, I'll tell them I'm looking to earn between 100 to 130,000. So I know even if they squeeze me and they say, no, we don't have a budget, so we'll go with the lowest, then you'll be happy because they have given you what you're looking for. Yeah, so giving them that range shows them, oh, this is where I'm willing to play around. These are the figures. And most of the time you'll find they'll either give you the lowest or they'll give you maybe something in the middle, like 115 or 120,000. Yeah.
All right, that's a good idea actually. And
Yes.
I'm sure it's something professionals struggle with
Yes.
during the interview process.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope the tips that Paminas has given you will come in handy in your next interview. For more tips on how you can grow your career, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.